Good morning, YouTube. Freddie Cardona here. Happy November 1st, and welcome back to another episode of Driving and the News, where my mission is to record history. And yes, you give me 10 minutes, I'll give you the world. So anyway, here we go. 10-10 wins. Early morning drive.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM, New York. Good morning, 60 degrees, 8 o'clock. It's Tuesday, November 1st. I'm Lee Harris, and here's what's happening. It was a bad day on Rikers. An inmate died and a correction officer got stabbed 15 times. Gunfire all over the city overnight, including a shooting in the Village after the Halloween parade. With Election Day a week away, Governor Hochul's trying to flip the playbook on Lee Zeldin, accusing him of being soft on crime, gun crime specifically. Federal and state charges filed now against the man who smashed Nancy Pelosi's husband in the head with a hammer. And the Halloween parade in the Village last night did not disappoint.
It's very, very, very special. It's amazing.
Sports, the Nets finally won their second game of the year. Game 3 of the World Series was rained out. 10-10 Wins AccuWeather, variably cloudy, rather mild for the 1st of November. We'll have a high today of 68. News time 8:01. Here's traffic and transit on the ones with Karen Stewart.
The southbound FDR Drive is so bad at 15th Street, where we have an accident in the right centers. It's been out there since 5:44 this morning. We are jammed on the southbound side of the FDR Drive from now, let me just make sure here, 97th Street. From 97th down to 15th, we are bumper to bumper on the southbound FDR Drive. Yeah, that traffic you ran was for something all the way down to 15th. And the northbound delays go back to the Brooklyn Bridge, bumper to bumper travel delays there. Again, we have an accident still southbound on the FDR at 15th Street. The Cross Bronx eastbound after 3rd Avenue has got an accident there, and the right lane is blocked, and we are jammed back to New Jersey, where we've got an inbound GW Bridge wait of 45 minutes for the upper, 40 for the lower, as we check what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. The Lincoln is 45, and the inbound Hollow has got a 25 to 30 minute delay. New Jersey eastbound 80 at exit 30 for Mount Arlington. We've got a disabled vehicle there, and we've got the right lane blocked. Westbound Route 4 near Kinderkamak Road in Hackensack has an accident, and southbound 17 at Central Avenue in Rochelle Park, we've got an accident there too. We've got train delays on the FMs and the Rs, and traffic is sponsored by Hess Toy Truck. Alternate side parking is suspended today. Traffic and transit every 10 minutes on the ones. Breaking traffic alerts whenever they happen. I'm Karen Stewart, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Every day is a rough day on Rikers Island, but yesterday was especially so. An inmate died and a correction officer got stabbed 15 times. Glenn Schuck with more from outside Rikers this morning.
And what's being called by the Corrections Department a completely unprovoked attack. This 28-year-old prison guard seriously hurt after being stabbed in the back of the head 15 times. Happened about 5 p.m. last night. That injured correction officer taken over to Elmhurst, where he spent the night. He was also visited by Mayor Adams. Now, the inmate who stabbed the guard, Dennis Applewhite, he's here at Rikers for killing his girlfriend last year. The 18th death of an inmate here at Rikers this year includes 26-year-old Gilberto Garcia, who passed away about 1 in the afternoon here yesterday. Reports of a drug overdose not yet confirmed by the city medical examiner. Glenn Schuck, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM outside Rikers Island.
Election Day, 1 week from today, and Governor Hochul, who had what looked like an insurmountable lead at one point, now appears to be neck and neck with Lee Zeldin. The main issue is crime. Zeldin has been hammering Hochul for being soft on crime, especially by supporting cashless bail. The governor's now trying to flip that around on Zeldin by claiming he's soft on guns.
And don't come here today and tell us that you've got a tough on crime plan that's just soft and squishy on guns.
Zeldin's his response?
The reality is, I would never want anyone to have a firearm in their hands if they're not going to be safely and securely carrying that firearm solely for legal purposes. But that doesn't fit her narrative, so that's why she adds the hyperbolic context to it.
Nationally, while President Biden's congressional campaigning has been kept to a minimum, especially in battleground states, the more popular former President Obama has been making quite a few appearances on the trail. Also out there, former President Trump.
Later this week, both former presidents will be campaigning in Pennsylvania for a Senate race that is razor tight. 538 Pennant has been tracking it all. Polls show that Republican Dr. Mehmet Oz and the Democrat John Fetterman are within just 1 point of each other. Much of that polling taken right before that crucial debate. A lot at stake there in Pennsylvania.
Correspondent Rachel Scott. 1010 Wins election coverage is sponsored by AARP New York. Get voting information you can trust at aarp.org/NY votes. There were shootings all over New York City overnight, with the exception of Staten Island, which was apparently gunfire-free. Carol Dioria with the shootings we know about this morning.
New York City was more like the OK Corral. There was so much gunfire. In Crown Heights, the police say shots were fired from a car and struck a man on a bicycle. He was hit in the neck and he died at Kings County Hospital. The police say he was a career criminal at the tender age of 26. There was no arrest. Then over in Manhattan on 13th Street and Broadway, somebody fired 4 shots. A 21-year-old man was hit in the buttocks. That was at midnight when the streets were absolutely mobbed with people in costumes for the annual Halloween parade. Again, no arrest. There was also a shooting in Astoria and another shooting on East 233rd Street in the Bronx. These were not life-threatening either. But in Sheepshead Bay yesterday afternoon, 2 people were shot and 1 of them died. In none of these shootings was there an arrest. Carol Dioria, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM on Broadway in the Village.
1010 Wins AccuWeather, variably cloudy, quite mild this afternoon. We'll have a shower or 2 and a high of 68. It's 60 degrees now, cloudy. Some rain and drizzle out there. Humidity at 92. The winds are south at 8. It is 60, and we're going up to 68. Israeli voters are going to the polls again today, the 5th national election in 3 years.
The polls here in Israel have opened in what will be another tight race between the center-left camp led by the current Prime Minister, Yair Lapid, and Benjamin Netanyahu, who's hoping to reinstall a right-wing government. Netanyahu is the one coming into Election Day with the momentum, riding on the popularity of his new far-right partners, putting him just 1 seat shy of a majority. Lapid and his left-wing allies must outperform the polls and turn out their base if they hope to beat or at best block a Netanyahu comeback. Jordana Miller, ABC News, Jerusalem.
Something out of the ordinary at last night's Nets game, a protest against anti-Semitism brought on by Kyrie Irving's tweeting out a link last week promoting a film which protesters say includes anti-Jewish tropes.
Courtside at Barclays, fans wearing t-shirts saying, "Fight anti-Semitism." Kyrie, to his credit, reportedly said to them, quote, "Grateful for you guys."
Correspondent Ryan Field. The film is called Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up, Black America. According to the synopsis, it uncovers the true identity of the children of Israel. Kyrie defended the link at first, but later deleted his tweet after criticism from Nets owner Joe Tsai and a statement from the NBA denouncing hate in all forms. The man accused of smashing Nancy Pelosi's husband over the head with a hammer is facing very serious federal charges. They could put him in prison for life. He's also facing state charges.
According to a federal affidavit, 42-year-old David DePape was found with zip ties, a roll of tape, white rope, a pair of rubber and cloth gloves, and 2 hammers, including one used in the assault. In an interview with police, DePape called Speaker Pelosi the leader of the pack of lies told by the Democratic Party, said he planned to hold Nancy hostage and talk to her, and if she lied to him, he would break Nancy's kneecaps. She would then have to be wheeled into Congress, which would show other members of Congress there were consequences to actions.
Correspondent Jonathan Vigliotti. People who knew DePape in Berkeley are surprised. They say they knew him as a drug addict and nudism activist who used to sell jewelry made of hemp for a living. 60 degrees, cloudy in New York. We're going up to 68 in Midtown. Weather update sponsored by AARP-NY. The U.S. Supreme Court heard arguments yesterday in 2 cases that could decide the future of affirmative action at American colleges.
Justice Amy Coney Barrett saying the court itself has always envisioned a timeline timeline for affirmative action.
How do you know when you're done? When would you have the endpoint?
2 cases were before the court, both brought by the conservative group Students for Fair Admissions. One against Harvard College, alleging that Harvard discriminates against Asian American applicants by using subjective standards to score their personalities. The other case against the University of North Carolina, alleging it discriminated against white and Asian American students by giving preference to Black, Hispanic, and Native American ones.
Correspondent Terry Moran, the court has upheld affirmative action twice in the past 19 years, but that was before the current conservative majority on the court. The Halloween parade returned to the village last night, the first full-scale parade since the pandemic.
You like ghosts? You like skeletons? If so, you've come to the right place. Just ask Thomas.
I think it's phenomenal, honestly. It's my first time here, even though I'm from Brooklyn. It's absolutely amazing.
And this reaction from Sarah.
It's cool that they have different groups and different cultures.
Organizers expected tens of thousands of marchers and bands and floats. David and his buddies came here from London to see the correct way to celebrate this holiday.
Americans know how to do Halloween, and what we're seeing now in the UK is we're learning from you guys.
Well, here's to upping your Halloween game. Roger Stern, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM in the West Village.
All right, guys, there you have it. A little snippet of today's news, November 1, 2022. A little bit cloudy, a little bit rainy, but here we are, documenting history. And just remember, you give me 10 minutes and I'll give you the world. Or 1010 wins will give you the world. All right, guys, have a great day and we'll see you on the next video.